Still Poddable, still Poddable. Boston Celtics, still Poddable, still Poddable. Oh yeah! Still Poddable, still Poddable. Boston Celtics, still Poddable, still Poddable. Banana 19.
Beat Rob, Jim, Pekka, J. King.
Still Poddable, still Poddable.
The Caesar on the court to get another ring.
Still Poddable, still Poddable.
Everybody in the chat now sing.
Still Poddable, still Poddable. Still Poddable, still Poddable. Boston Celtics, still Poddable, still Poddable. Oh yeah!
Shut your ass up, man.
Daddy's always happening here.
Welcome back to Still Poddable! This is the Poddable Post-Game Show. I am Sam Jan Packard, professional sports fan, joined by producer Sean Gauthier, wearing a rather dapper sweater this evening. We are Still Poddable, Monday through Friday, Celtics podcast, the best Celtics podcast on Al Gore's internet. You can join us every single day, Monday through Friday, if you go to patreon.com/stillpotable. But the Celtics haven't played in so long, their second game in 11 days, so we're thinking, why not make this the free episode? That means we're also on the CLNS YouTube page. We're brought to you on Prize Picks and the Game Time app. And so appreciate anyone who's tuning in on YouTube, anyone via CLNS, anyone on the free feed, or anyone watching now live on Twitter and YouTube. If you want more Still Poddable, again, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. We're joining today after the rare Celtics loss. They lose. God, what was even the final score of this one? 117-108 to the Chicago Bulls in, I'll call it an ugly game, but it got feisty and entertaining in the end. Kind of a mixed bag in the first half, but then in the second half, it just felt like the Bulls came out with a lot more energy. They started getting a lot of second chance points. They started getting some easy points in transition. And then the fourth quarter started. And you know what? We got to be fair and balanced here on the podcast. We've been celebrating Peyton Pritchard all year. Peyton Pritchard started the fourth quarter jacking 3 threes that were they were not great shots. The first one was like a 30-footer. He got his own rebound and did a fadeaway in the corner. The third one was a fantastic shot, and he should have shot it. He just happened to miss it. But the Bulls start the quarter on, I think, a 10-4 run. Then they go on another, as part of that, I think they got a 12-0 run. And it was just bad news Bears, bad news Bulls. Bad news all around for the Celtics, who they had a chance to get back in this game. Jason Tatum checked back into the game. I thought, things are going to be going well. It checks back in. They're down 6. He immediately gets a steal. They have a boom, 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 5 passes around the perimeter. Knock down a Jaylen Brown wide open 3 in the corner. They don't get the next time, but Derek White comes up with a cool free safety steal at half court. He gets knocked in the head. I think, everything's coming up roses for the Celtics. They miss the next shot, but there's a scramble for the loose ball. I forget who was it. Ayo Dosunmu gets on the ball. Then Peyton Pritchard falls on the ball. Jaylen Brown's there too. Jump ball. Everything's good. I gotta blame Joe Mazzulla for this one. Because then he jumps up and is like, they call that the Peyton Pritchard is going to be the one who does the jump ball. And they obviously want Jaylen Brown to be the one who does the jump ball. And they say Peyton Pritchard is the one. And Joe Mazzulla gets, I think, overreacts to the call. It just gets outrageously pissed off. I do think it was a quick tech, but then he gets teched up. And then that just lets the crazy out. Then Joe Mazzulla just starts going like he felt like he was fine with the initial call, and then he started processing a little bit. He just starts screaming at this new guy, Van Dyne, who I've never seen before. I don't like his haircut or his face. But he went.
I gotta look up his haircut.
He went to the Tony Brothers School of Nonsense, and so tech happens. It was a 3-point game. Then they're walking back down the court, to do the jump ball with Jaylen Brown. Or not with Jaylen Brown, with Peyton Pritchard. Then Jaylen Brown gets a tech. And so that one also called by Van Dyne. And it's like he just completely lost control of the basketball game. And then the actual jump ball happens. And Peyton Pritchard wins it. It just so happens he tips the ball off Kristaps Porzingis. It goes out of bounds. And then Zach LaVine on a very illegal screen set by Vucevic knocks down a three. That's what we like to call in the biz a 5-point swing. And so the Celtics go from being down 3 with a little momentum to down 8. And it really wasn't good from there. They tried to make some plays, but then Jason Tatum gets a tech from Tony Brothers, because of course he does. And then I don't know if everyone caught this after the game, but as soon as the final whistle, Joe Mazzulla just starts going after the refs, just like I've never seen him do this before. Just starts screaming at him, yelling at him. Has to be hauled back by Tony Dobbins and Sam Cassell. Need to throw him back into the tunnel, which is just outrageous stuff from Joe Mazzulla. I've never really seen him react that much from the post game, but it's just first time for everything, I guess.
Yeah, I am seeing. Oh well, first I'm seeing that you've got a video queued up. I think you gotta show the video, and then I'll get to what I was gonna say.
Well, it's not just the video, folks. We're breaking new ground. That's right. You know that music. It's the still Poddable still. But for the first time, the Poddable still will be moving video, because I think the video is so necessary that we need to watch this. And sorry for the folks who are listening on the podcast version. I'll do my best to narrate the video from the start. But it's seconds after the tip.
Game losing streak in this series.
And we just see Joe Mazzulla running past Nemi at half court, screaming, pointing at Van Dyne, calling him all sorts of things, probably like a bum-ass bitch if I had to lip read. Still getting pulled back. Celtic security is there. Guy in a goofy Christmas sweater. 3 men have to pull Joe Mazzulla back into the locker room after the game. I've never seen him so angry before in my life. And that's just wild stuff to me. That I love the fire from Joe Mazzulla. Frankly, I'm just shocked that we haven't seen more of this earlier in his career.
Yeah, this one does not seem like a tech where he just needed to change the energy in the arena. He did say, I've been sitting here refreshing Twitter to figure out what he says at the press conference. I'm seeing Jared Weiss says that Joe said, I can't be on the court. Ref's got to do his job, and I was on the court, and that's it. So that's why he got his tech.
That's fair. He did come pretty much onto the court, kind of invaded Van Dyne's space. And so I can understand immediate tech from that scenario. Good to know it's that, and maybe not him saying anything. But then that doesn't explain, if he knew that he couldn't be on the court, why did after he get tech continue to scream at Van Dyne for breaking a fairly obvious rule of walking on the court?
He was then Jared Weiss just followed up. This is 39 seconds ago. This is we're reading tweets in real time. He says Mazzulla was asked why he tried to yell at the refs when his staff and security held him back after the final buzzer, and he said, I just hadn't seen them in a while, so just Merry Christmas and a happy holiday. He said he couldn't miss the chance to tell them happy holidays. I think he was like, that's good. That deserves shit Joe says. That's a good one.
You give me an excuse to press the button, I'm going to press the button. And I apologize for my bad lip reading. He was not saying bum-ass bitch. He was saying Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. So that's fair. It was a total 5-point swing, and it ruined the Celtics' chances of getting back in the game. That distracts from the fact that the Celtics really played terrible defense, especially in the second half. And I just got to give credit to Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine was very good. So was Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo Dosunmu scored 17 points in the second half. Zach LaVine had, I think, 35 in this game in general. Ayo Dosunmu did not score 17 points. I'm so sorry. I was looking at his plus-minus. An impressive plus-minus for Ayo Dosunmu. But let me be more accurate. He scored 12 points, but Zach LaVine scored 16. And the Bulls just shot incredibly well from three. They kind of beat the Celtics at their own game tonight. They knocked down 19 threes. The Celtics 14 for 56 for a solid 25%. And so this is just one of those games where the math wasn't mathin' for the Celtics. Sure, they got up a number of attempts from three, but when you only hit 25%, it's just incredibly rare that you're going to win a basketball game. I guess good for them that they were able to kind of keep things close, but you combine that kind of three-point discrepancy with just the second chance points the Bulls got, the easy buckets in transition, and then you pile on Tony Brothers shenanigans, a Tony Brothers fourth quarter production. Celtics, they lost this one. They deserve to lose, and hopefully they are more focused on their terrible basketball than the furiousness and the happy holidays and that kind of shenanigans.
Nah, I think we're just going to be, the refs made their voices heard, and that's what people are going to talk about.
That's what we should talk about. As fans, of course, we should talk about that. We should talk about Joe Mazzulla wanting to do some jujitsu with the folks in the stripes. But Joe Mazzulla is also probably going to show a lot of tape of that second half where it was just wasn't solid basketball from the Celtics, not matching, not finding their guys in transition, not being crisp, just communication errors on pick and roll coverages leading to open threes. Talen Horton-Tucker did some stuff, and I learned from Poddable Chat tonight that Talen Horton-Tucker is one of the most polarizing players in the NBA. Some folks in chat hate him. Some folks in chat love him. I'm generally towards the love side because his body looks like he's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and I just think that he's still an impressive basketball player despite looking like Raphael. And maybe he's more of a Donatello type, and that's why people don't like him. But he was solid tonight, and the Celtics did not have their best just effort. And maybe it's just not being sharp, not being locked in after not playing, like I said, 2 games in 11 days. But I feel like they're going to come back, and when they go to Chicago on Saturday, absolutely kick the shit out of the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I would bet on that for sure.
And it's just is this one of those things where they clearly need to lock in? They're sure they had some practices, but they have not played legitimate competition since when was the last close game? The Grizzlies game a couple weeks ago was their last loss, and so they've kind of been just not really playing competitive basketball. This sounds like me building excuses for them. It's because I am. But some interesting things did happen tonight. No Sam Hauser. He had an injury. He's still kind of tending to his back. And so who do you think the 8th guy was tonight? They brought in Al Horford. They brought in Peyton Pritchard. Obvious first 2 guys off the bench. Who do you think Joe went with number 8?
Was it Springer?
It was Springer, and he was bad. Not bad. He hustles hard. He plays pretty solid defense. The Bulls just didn't guard him per se, which made things a little bit more difficult. And then his stint in the second half, at the start of that fourth quarter, when everything really went to shit, he was the one who's kind of fucking up. So that was a curious decision. Maybe that's why Joe Mazzulla went crazy, so he didn't have to answer the why Jaden Springer questions. I think it's weird. It felt like Peterson was kind of getting that role recently. It also feels like Jordan Walsh is that type of guy. It just felt bizarre to me to go to this 3-guard lineup with Peterson, Pritchard, and then a combination of Drew and or Derek White. Especially when they're getting beat on the boards. Maybe you want some more size out there. I get Springer has a lot of hustle. He just hasn't played in the longest time, so I just was felt like it was the weird thing to do in that context.
Isn't it kind of weird that Springer doesn't spend any time in Maine?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just he was super good in summer league, but yeah, it's shocking to me that he doesn't spend any time at all in Maine.
What's his contract? Is he, if he's no longer a two-way guy, maybe there's like there you can't send him to Maine. I
But
don't
is
know.
Baylor Sharman on a two-way?
No, he's not. I know Peterson is. I know J.D. Davidson is. I know you're allowed to have 3. And so maybe maybe they don't have a third.
Yeah.
But a man smarter than me will have to comment in the comments about why I'm dumb. Another interesting thing tonight, I like the Celtics. I thought in the first half, they especially were just doing a very good job of feeding Kristaps. Like the Bulls were just giving them the switch every time, and Kristaps was just kind of dominating in the paint. He had 12 points there, and I kind of liked what they were doing. But I had this sneaking suspicion that the Celtics were getting outmathed in their own, like they were going for all these twos, and the Bulls were knocking down all these threes, and it kind of is what kept the Bulls in the game close. The Bulls made 7 threes in the second quarter. The Celtics only made 3. The Bulls outscored the C's there, and so I'm just doing a little conspiracy brain thinking here. But like, is that the way to pull the Celtics out of what they're trying to do to get them out of their rhythm? Is to like maybe just try and get Doc Williams coming in 3 two-way contracts. I like that he's doing this one comment at a time.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so we can't put it on the screen.
And Doc Williams, Anton Watson.
Anton Watson.
Shout out to
Right.
Doc. 1, the information. 2, the delivery. So yeah, that explains why I don't think you can then send like an NBA contract player up to the G League, and so maybe that's why Jaden Springer's getting here at the moments. I've now realized that my conspiracy theory about goading Kristaps into shots was dumb, and I retract it. It was a dumb thing to say. Let's move on to the last thing I noticed about the Celtics basketball game today. Peyton Pritchard closing over Drew Holiday down the stretch, which I think it makes sense, especially if you want just kind of this dynamic, more playmaking, more shooting out there. But it's Drew Holiday. It's 2-time NBA champion Drew Holiday. It's excellent defender Drew Holiday. It's guy who's knocked down a bunch of corner threes in his career, Drew Holiday. I just think it's an interesting choice. I can't really say for which one is better at this point, because Peyton Pritchard has been on a heater, and he brings a lot of energy. And so, especially from 3, I can imagine, especially when you're down, you maybe want his 3-point shooting. But I just think it's something to notice. Like, what is the Celtics closing lineup? Because I feel like, and this is happening a lot, and I think it's the first time this team's been like really fully healthy. So it's the first time where it's like hasn't been an injury. But I feel like Pritchard has been closing a lot of these games, and it's just interesting to see. I don't think Drew Holiday is going to be a problem locker room type of guy or anything like that, or furious with his role. It's just an interesting choice because it's Drew Holiday at the end of the day. And I know he's had 3-point struggles, but he's also the guy to like made the clutch steal at the end of that game in Indiana to like win that game. And so to kind of like take the ball out of his hands metaphorically, and some would say literally, it's just something that I would ask Joe Mazzulla, but I would not ask him. I'm kind of scared of him. But I would try to get Jay or B-Rob to ask a question about, because I think it's a choice.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, like I can kind of get it. Like Drew's having a down year in terms of threes, and like you're losing by a lot. But also we're losing by a lot because you keep missing threes. So I'm kind of like, maybe put Drew in there for the steals, and obviously Peyton Pritchard can score in the paint, but it's like bigger guy in the paint sounds better. Like when Tatum came in the game, the first thing he did was just drive and get an easy layup, and like late in the 4th. And so I'm just like, I understand that there's math involved, but Sean Grandy I was listening on the radio, and Grandy kept saying like, he's like, it seems like we will soon figure out how many threes the Celtics can miss before it makes them lose a game. And like, I was just like, I felt like Tatum had the right idea. Just drive in there, get some easy ones, and dear God, can everyone play some defense?
And the defensive thing, I think, is the most important, because Peyton Pritchard may bring defensive intensity, but at the end of the day, he's 6'1", maybe 6 feet, probably. And if you're going to switch, it's just going to give shots to, like, you can shoot over the top of Zach LaVine, and where it's just like Drew Holiday is just a much more solid defender. And it really felt like down the stretch, the Celtics needed stops, and they couldn't get stops. Oh, they kind of got stops, and then the Van Dyne and Tony Brothers got in the way. But like they really were not getting stops consistently, and that felt like the issue. And so maybe Holiday would have been the choice there. I personally was too pumped up and jacked up. And I forgot to tell you guys about two of our favorite sponsors. Let's talk about Prize Picks. It is America's favorite daily fantasy sports app. All you have to do is pick more or less on at least two players, and you have your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It is America's #1 daily fantasy app. You can make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks. It's the best place to get real money action while you're watching your favorite sports. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And so go to the app today, download Prize Picks, use code CLNS to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. We're also brought to you by the Game Time app. You guys know the Game Time app. It's where you go when it's game time and you need to get tickets. You can get sports, theater, comedy, any sorts of live event. Game Time will give you the best chance to get those tickets. And so I highly recommend going to the Game Time app. It makes getting picks that much easier. It has all-in pricing, shows everything you're going to pay up front. You can get a panoramic view of your seat before you buy, lowest price guarantee, and it's got Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code CLNS, and get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account. Redeem the code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. What time is it really, Sean? Junk time. Now, you were listening on the radio, and I don't know if you caught a visual of what Patrick Williams' hair looked like.
No.
Okay, so he had cornrows, right? But like the middle part, there's like a cornrow here and a cornrow here, but the middle part was completely bald. And I've never seen that before. And I'm not going to be one here as a white man making judgment on black hair, specifically cornrows, but I'm just going to say I've never seen it before. It's not a value statement. It was just new to me. And that's the junk.
I just looked it up. Woof. You know what this is? This is a guy who's had the same style cornrows for years. And what happens is you got your hair braided and it creates tension at the ends of them. And then those hairs just start falling out. The ones on the edge, they just start going. And that's definitely what happened to this poor guy. He's got to just go with a short afro for like, oh no, you know what? I'm looking at pictures of him younger. Oh, you know what? It almost looks like that might, I can't tell if it's lights or not now. Now I got to do a deep dive into this. No, it's not. I just found a picture of him in an afro. He's got, I don't know the word for it. You know the thing where some people have like a patch of hair that's white?
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. Because I'm seeing I'm gonna hold my phone up to the screen like an idiot. No one's gonna be able to see what that looks like. But with the fro, you can see there's some white there. So that's what that is. All right.
I'm glad we figured that out. That's called the Junk Drawer Investigates. Now, you missed this, but on the broadcast, Drew and Scal were talking about this new thing the NBA does. It's called the dunk score, where apparently there's 25 different mathematical factors that calculate into the dunk score, including like jump velocity, jump verticality, speed of the ball through the rim. And you know what that is? That's someone with too much time on their hands, or they just got a whole bunch of new sports data and they just don't know what to do with it. But you got to do better than dunk score. Dunk scores dunk score should be calculated by 5 old men who used to play basketball in the 70s, and they should just hold up a sign that's sponsored by Sprite. And that's the only way dunk scores should be calculated. I don't need any sort of mathematics in that. It's entirely stupid.
Look, I'm a nerd too, right? Like I enjoy a good stat. I enjoy all this, but that's ridiculous. There's certain things about sports that you can't be a nerd about, and there can't be numbers for dunking.
Dunking is the
I'm
purest.
opposed.
Dunking's the purest boy, he nice, like kind
Yeah.
of analysis type thing. Like you cannot analytics the dunk. The point of the dunk, it's to be cooler than a layup. It's like a better version of 2 points purely based on style factors. And to put a number to it it's ugly. And it's frankly a reflection of where we are as a society, which is a bad place. What if I just started doing like really biting social commentary, but then like just being like, and that's why our society's terrible. That was a bad improvisation. I should have come up with a better line, but I was struggling. I was just thinking about it, hitting the note. Celtics had 8 blocks tonight, but they should have had 11 blocks. But that GD Tony Brothers took 2 away, 1 from Derek White and 1 from Al Horford. And when is he going to stop doing this? When are we going to stop falling for Tony Brothers tricks? Never. Taco Bell has chicken nuggets?
I hate that.
Yeah, no, it's stupid. I think we need to expand on that. Taco Bell is a specific brand of, I would say, Mexican food. Did they spice up the nuggets with some sort of Southwestern seasoning? No, it's just a completely ridiculous thing, and it's frankly, it's a sign of where we've come as a society.
I was in Southern California earlier this year, and I went to a Jack in the Box.
I've heard of
And that
these.
place has any fast food you can think of, just all in the same place. And maybe this is Taco Bell trying to step into the Jack in the Box lane. But over here on the East Coast, we have places for chicken nuggets, and Taco Bell isn't that place.
They
I
have
go
them
to
in the
Taco
West
Bell
Coast
for
too.
specific things.
Next is going to be the Taco Bell burger, the Taco Bell fried chicken sandwich. Like, stay in your lane, Taco Bell. Live Mas. And to their credit, their company culture is thinking outside the bun. They're doing that, but some thoughts are bad. And so keep them in your head, Taco Bell. Tatum had a dope crossover. That's more of a basketball-related highlight, but he really made Patrick Williams made his hair go white in the middle of his head. If Eddie House is always going to be on Zoom, they should just call the segment Eddie's House.
I don't know what we need to do to fix Eddie's camera quality, but I'm just picturing
It's
him.
knee level. My audio video is better than Eddie House's, and he's on television, presumably getting paid for it. It's ridiculous.
I think he's on like one of the BPS Chromebooks that they just like have laying around in the basement of every Boston public school, because the video quality on that thing is so bad. And like when I use my phone for Still Poddable live from the garden, it looks better than what Eddie House has going on. And yeah, he needs to fix that. It's brutal.
Does he still have no background either, or does he have like one random jersey and like a basketball? It's just like Eddie's dark room where he goes to think about how terrible
basically.
we are as a society.
Before we move on from Eddie House, I did see that he apparently said that in the post-game show, he said that refs need to get fined for bad calls. And I love that. That's such a former player thing to say. And I think that's brilliant.
Here's what needs to happen. Do you remember during Deflategate where there was the Wells report, where it was like the NFL's big report into the investigation, and then the Patriots released their own report called the Wells Report in Context? I need teams to start releasing last 2-minute reports in context, where they out-report the report, and they say, no, actually, we looked at the footage, and you're wrong. And I say that, and now I'm going to do a classic Jam Packard, immediately retract. Because that's a Daryl Morey-ass move. That's a whiny-ass, I'm going to complain in the playoffs because I don't like the foul calls, and I hate on Daryl Morey when he does it then, and so I can't support that idea now. Have you seen the new Drew Holiday commercial for, like, Xenia glasses?
No.
Okay, well, one, he stole the sponsorship from Sam Cassell, which I don't think is a
Yeah.
very nice thing to do. But two, it looks like the shoot took approximately 12 minutes. They just went to that park in the North End where Jay King kicked my ass playing one-on-one basketball, and they're like, all right, Drew, we're going to need you for 2 shots, and that's in the background, and then a voiceover, and then we're going to give you $500,000. Just a real low-effort commercial, stolen from Sam Cassell. Can't say I'm a fan of it.
There's like a local law firm commercial that I'm sure you're not seeing on League Pass, but there's one with Derek White, and it is a high effort, just your classic bad athlete commercial where like everyone else has their lines memorized and they're saying the thing, and Derek like keeps putting a thumbs up and reading just off camera, reading his cards, and it's perfect. It's exactly what I want from a local commercial with a professional athlete. It's great.
Hi, I'm Derek White, and I'll fight for you on the court. But in court, you need my friend Bill.
That's literally that you could have written this ad, Packard. That's exactly what they say.
Well, when I start my own private practice, I got the exact ad script needed. Have you seen the Mufasa trailer? I'm not even going to get into that. You know, I don't think we need to even discuss that. But one of the tags, like one of the things, it just says, the quotes, it just says, entertaining. And I just feel like that's a real low bar for a movie. And that could have been a quote from anything. It's like, this movie attempts to be entertaining. But if you just pull out the word entertaining, that's not really doing much for me. And it makes me think the critics are not a big fan of Mufasa, which makes sense. But Seth Rogen got his money. Is Donald Glover in that as well? Did he also come back for the sequel?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would feel bad about that because I like Donald Glover. I don't think that deserves the sound. It's too depressing. Jason Tatum tried to kill a man. Really homicidal dunk attempt. It did not work. It looked like he hurt his back. But normally Jaylen Brown's the homicidal one, and so I give Jason Tatum credit for his homicidal tendencies. Billy Donovan looks like he really knows how to stain a deck. You know? This looks like a type of guy who you would stand down on your front porch and you'd look over and he'd be sipping his coffee, and then he'd give you some tips about what he does with the trimmings of his lawn and how it makes a good mulch. And again, this is not a pejorative statement. This is just an assessment. This is just me opening my eyes. Objectively, I would trust him to repave my garage or my driveway. You know, it just feels like a suburban fix-it man. And so maybe he's a good basketball coach too. I don't know. I forgot to press the button. Now I got to press the button.
I know.
That's all I got, Sean. Any audio junk from listening to the game on Grandy and Max?
Grandy and Max got into a conversation about the Hall of Fame, and they never really got to finish it because it was like around all the technical foul calls. But they're talking about Billy Donovan as a Hall of Fame coach. So I know nothing about him.
He won 2 national championships with Al Horford in Florida. And so it is just the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
He was a player. I believe he went to University of Rhode Island and was coached by Rick Pitino. I would be shocked if they won anything. I don't remember URI ever being good. But speaking of New England colleges, shout out to UVM, who won the soccer national championship on a dope sudden death overtime goal. They were down 1-0 and came back, tied the game late, and then got into overtime and scored that one-on-one goal where the kid could have gone for the shot, but just decided to kick it out wide and basically made the goalie fall. So he had the easy shot. That must have been such a cool feeling to win a national championship for a school like UVM. I thought that was pretty boss gags, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, kid ripped his shirt off, took that yellow card. I was like, that's sick. That's like every soccer player's dream is final goal, rip your shirt off. That's legendary.
But he didn't get a yellow card because the game was over because he just won, unless it carries on into next year.
I bet they still presented the card, right? Because I don't know. I don't know what the NCAA soccer rules are.
Just mention that
he's
shitty
celebrating
NCAA
ref
holding the yellow up to him.
Oh man. Yeah,
man.
That was sweet.
It was pretty cool. It made me feel good about soccer because my team lost to Crystal Palace 3-1 this year. Not this year, this weekend. And on that positive note, we're going to do it here, folks. I can't believe we did 36 minutes on this basketball game where the Celtics lose, in case you forgot what we were talking about here. The Boston Celtics lose. They'll be back again against Saturday, against these same Chicago Bulls. And I expect them to win. Still Poddable will be back for you next week, and we'll be probably talking about that win. And then we'll go into Christmas week with a big game against the Magic, a less so big game against the 76ers. But we got a podcast for you every single day, Monday through Friday. Subscribe today, patreon.com/stillpoddable. Sean, thank you for joining me. And everyone who's out there listening, thank you for tuning in. And I wanted to end the show, and then I pressed the wrong button, and then I had to press the right button. And because I pressed the wrong button, now I had to go through this conversation about how I pressed the wrong button. So now we're going to end the show.
Still Poddable, still Poddable. The POSTGAME, still Poddable, still Poddable. Oh, yeah.
Slow down from eating and drinking and all that wild stuff.